So what is the Nissan Juke? It looks like a ladybug that no lady wants. Hello, welcome back to Why Did They Make This Car? The shallow dive roast show on some of the most god-awful cars out there. This is the third episode, so if you haven't already watched the Pontiac Aztek and the Plymouth Prowler, make sure to check those out. I'll put the links for them there. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I've got my podcast, The Immigrant Section, episodes coming out every Tuesday. I've got stand-up on here. I've got this series. I've got sketches. So just check it all out. I've got a bunch of content coming out all the time. But for today's episode, based on your comments and something I wanted to roast for a while, we are doing the Nissan Juke. The Nissan Juke. I always mess that up. Let's get it going. The Nissan Juke that we're talking about is the 2011 to 2017 model, because the Juke has actually been remade for the 2020 market. They've done some facelifts and changes that make it a lot more tasteful. So we're not talking about this new and improved Juke. We're talking about the original Juke with a capital U. By that, I mean O. Usually I try to find where the car appears in popular media, but this car has been very obscure. I've only seen a bunch of weird references in European and Asian movies that I can't readily identify. According to thetruthaboutcars.com, the entire reason for the Nissan Juke's existence is to appeal to a younger male audience, 18 to 35, who are looking for an urban experience. What's hilarious is that this car was made for singles, and ironically, this is the car you would get if you wanted to remain single. This is a car that would never help you on a dating profile. Let's look at this car, okay? So apparently they wanted these fenders to bubble out like that because they wanted a rally car inspired front end. In reality, they just ended up getting some weird bug-faced, confused front. Just look at the headlights. Weird, protruding, I don't even know exactly what to call it. So they really want it to be cool. That's why the rear door handles are hidden like that. So it looks like a coupe at first sight. Like, damn, is that a coupe? No, it's just a piece of crap. Every time I look at the Juke, it reminds me of the Volvo C30, as if the designers started with the C30 and were like, how do we make this more obscure and just strange? The Juke was a light player for the Nissan lineup in the US, and then in 2017, the US economy got really fed up with that whole model because the numbers dropped to 10,000 units sold for all of 2018, and that's pretty much when they pulled the plug on it. Shooter! And just sold the remaining units for the last couple of years. Sunday. To give you an idea of where these numbers stand, the main competitors of the Juke were the Kia Soul and the Honda Fit. Let's say, for example, 2013, the Nissan Juke sold 38,157 units, whereas the Honda Fit sold 53,513 units, and the Kia Soul sold 118,000. So clearly Kia was leading this pack by quite a margin, and that's because of their really low MSRP. But I will say that the Juke performed a lot better in the European markets than in the US market. Maybe Europeans just have a bigger appetite for daring design risks, or who knows? Interestingly too, Kia Soul and the Honda Fit both come with manual standard and you have to upgrade to automatic, whereas the Juke comes with a CVT, a continuously variable transmission, and you have to pay a premium to actually get the manual. Again, as we compare it to its competitors with interior cabin space, I think it very clearly falls short when compared to the Honda Fit and the Kia Soul in that department. The car is not practical. This is not a car for a trip. Apparently, this is a car for the single man. But when you compare the Juke to the Honda Fit and the Kia Soul, you actually see that it does pull apart when it comes to performance, only because the Juke is mated to a 1.6 liter turbo inline 4 as opposed to the Fit on a Soul, which are on the naturally aspirated inline 4s. The only way they can market the Juke was with weird marketing schemes like this one here, where they had to use almost like some subliminal system to be like, it's such a standout that you missed our typo. Like, it's a trick to keep you looking at the ad longer. You can't advertise the car based on the merits of the car itself. No, you got to use some billboard trickery. Like, It's like, I want Juke. And for the interior, it's exactly what you'd expect for a sub $20,000 entry-level SUV. Pretty cheap across the board, especially this shifter surrounding area with the cup holders. I don't know what they were thinking with that glossy red they went with. It looks like an Iron Man suit you could buy for Halloween at a Dollarama. That would just break in 7 seconds. But before I'm done this review, I have to mention the Juke R. This is the Juke Godzilla version. This is truly a Frankenstein experiment. I don't know what possessed Nissan to do this, but they took the motor out of a GTR and put it into a Juke. And not just a normal GTR motor, they tuned it to produce 690 horsepower. It's a twin turbo V6. Only 5 ever came off the assembly line. Nissan has 2. 2 of them crashed, and now only 1 is available for sale. And the going rate is $706,000. It actually reminds me of that Simpsons joke.
That's a Bentley Mark 12. They gave one to me, one to Steven Spielberg, and then they shot the guy who made it.
So you can go with that, or you can get a Rolls Royce, a used Ferrari, and a nice 3-4 bedroom house. Up to you. If you look at the new 2020 Juke, you'll see they toned down that ralliness of the front end. They brought those headlights so they're actually in profile with the rest of the front end and the hood. And they toned down how aggressive the fenders were coming out. So it looks a lot more like your run-of-the-mill car now, not as daring as the original Juke. What's funny is actually when I first started doing stand-up, the Nissan Juke was one of the first jokes I ever did.
I travel a lot. I was in Japan and I was in Tokyo. I was surprised to see how many people have face masks on in the street. It's really surprising. And I didn't know if everybody was like sick or if they were like hypochondriacs. And then somebody told me, turns out a huge portion of Japanese people just super embarrassed about the Nissan Juke. You know, they're super embarrassed.
Wow. Just like the car, those both bombed hard. There you have it, the Nissan Juke. Pretty weird car. They wanted it for urban experiences. It's the car for single guys to stay single, I guess. Pretty cheap interior, but it's what you'd expect for a sub $20,000 car. Apparently pretty spiffy if you get it with the 6-speed manual. So if you're in the market, just saying. But hey, leave a comment about what car I should do next, or if you have a testimonial about the Juke itself, whether you had it, drove it, whatever, leave it in the comment. I'd love to see what your feedback is on that. I'm Abbas Wahab, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do check out my other content. And until next time, I'll see y'all. Peace.